Hi guys, welcome back to the APM mobile automation sessions. In a previous lecture, we learned about the APM internal structure, and in today's session, we will be learning how do we actually set up APM on Windows platform. Like we've already learned that we can set up APM on two different platforms. That is the iOS. For iOS, you need to have the Mac PC, and it can also be set up on the Windows platform. So for using Windows, we'll be just be explaining you all the things that we need to have in order to set up APM on the Windows platform. So basically, I've divided this tutorial into 15 points that we will be covering one by one, and at the end of this 15th point, we will cover on how actually APM is being set up on the Windows platform. So let's read it one by one. Firstly, we'll be needing Java. That is one of the main requirements in order to run APM mobile automation test cases on the Windows platform. And this part, second thing, which says download the Android Studio. Basically, there are two ways that we can run our automation scripts on the Android mobile. First is if we have the physical Android device with ourselves, we can just simply plug in the device into our machine. The work machine may be laptop or a desktop machine. And the other way is that if we don't have a physical Android device, what we can do is create an emulator, create a virtual device on which we can run our test cases. So basically what happens is in most of the companies, when you're working in various MNCs or in whatever company you're working, what happens is the client may not approve the project of running different Android test cases on different mobile platforms. Like there might be a requirement to run test cases on Nexus 5 or any other mobile device as well. So in that case, in order to we actually need to have devices, right? So the workaround is that we can have virtual devices as well, so that it simply plays the role of the physical devices. We actually get a virtual image of that device into our PC, and using that we can use those images to run our test cases against them. So I will be explaining it in more detail in our future lectures. So basically, in order to get those virtual devices, we need to have the Android installed in our machines, which comes as a package. And when we install the Android Studio, the entire Android SDK also gets downloaded automatically. As you can see, we need the SDK. And so firstly, like I said, we need Java, we need Android SDKs, we need the Android Studio, and when we have the Android Studio, we will have the emulator as well, as it is a part of the SDK which gets downloaded. And in the previous lecture, I told you, like in order to run APM, we need Node.js. So we will be downloading Node.js as well in our lectures. And configuring the environment paths, I will tell you more about what actually the environment path variables are and how do we need to set them. And finally, we will be downloading the APM server and the APM Java client library. Why APM Java client library? Because we will be using Java as a language in order to automate the test cases. And finally, we will be needing an IDE. In our tutorials, we will be using Eclipse, since it is freely available over the internet. There are other IDEs also, like NetBeans. It totally depends upon you what IDE you want to use. My favorite is Eclipse, so I will be using Eclipse, where I will be writing all the code, and at the end we will be starting the APM server. So this is just the brief introduction about all the 15 steps that we'll be using in order to set up APM on our Windows platform. Now let's go to the first step and see how actually it works. So like I said, firstly you need to download the Java, right? So in order to download the Java, what you need to do is you just simply need to open the browser and Google on download Java, and from the links that will appear, just click on this first link. So what we can do is, or we can just say download Java JDK, right, for Windows. So you can open this Oracle website, right? And since we are installing it on the Windows platform, what you can do is click on this JDK link, and it will open a new page where you can choose on what platform you actually need to use Java. So as you can see the Windows platform, you can see the Mac OS platform. So if you want to install Java on the Mac OS platform, you can select this file, and if you want to install it on the Windows platform, you can simply install this one. So once Java is downloaded onto your PC, and you will see an exe file being downloaded. I won't be downloading it in front of you right now, since it might consume our time. So basically, once the exe file is downloaded and you install Java on your machines, you can simply go to the simply open your My Computer and go to the C drive, and in the C drive you can go to the program files, and you will see this Java folder being displayed here. So inside this Java, you will see that JDK and the GRE has been downloaded. So this is first part, that the Java has been downloaded into your PC, right? Now since we have downloaded Java, we also need to configure environment variables to let our system know like where exactly Java has been installed. So it's always a good practice that you install after you have installed the Java in your machines, you set up the environment variables. As I said, environment variables are nothing but they tell your machine like where exactly Java is located in your machine. So in order to tell where my Java is actually located in the machine, I will set this Java underscore home. I will create this Java underscore home variable in the environment variable. So where these environment variables are actually created. For that, you just need to go to My Computer again. Like you can see this PC, My Computer, and you just need to right click on the screen, go to Properties, and then go to Advanced System Settings link, and here you will see this environment variables button. Just click on it. Here you need to create the Java underscore home variable. So in order to create it, you just need to click on this new button, and as soon as you click on this new button, give your variable the name, and in our case the name of the variable will be Java underscore home. So once you've given the Java underscore home variable, you need to give the value, and here the value will be just go back to the folder where Java has been installed, go inside the JDK folder, and just copy this path like this, and go to your environment variable, and just copy this path in this value field, and click on OK. So you'll see that Java underscore home variable has been created. So this is how we create the Java underscore home variable. Click on OK. One more thing you need to do in order in order to let your PC know that okay, Java is installed at this location on my computer, so you need to give one more path, that is inside the bins path. Here just copy, as you can see, I will just explain it to you again. As you can see, in the program files we have this Java folder, right? So in this Java folder you can also see there, inside the JTK folder you can see there is a bin folder, right? So just go to this bin folder path and copy it, and this path needs to be pasted like this. Again, click on properties, go to advanced system settings, environment variables. Here you need to find a variable known as path. Just click on it, and here at the end you just need to paste this path here, right? Just like this. As soon as you have pasted this, click on OK. You will see that now you have given the path of your Java in the environment variables, and you can verify now that Java has been successfully installed and successfully the environment variables have been configured into the PC by just opening the command prompt. And if you write a simple command like Java Java and then this version, you will see it is actually returning okay, Java 1.8 version has been installed, and everything is configured. So this is the magic of environment variables. It is supposed to let your PC know that okay, at this position, at this location, my Java is located, right? So in this video we have covered that our first step, how do we need to download Java, and how do we need to set Java_home environment variables. Now I hope that is clear. I will now move to the next step, which says we need to download the Android Studio. As you can see, I've already given the link from where you can download the Android Studio. Before downloading it, I'm explaining you again that why do we need the Android Studio. Basically, Android Studio comes in two parts. First one is the actual Android Studio, which we will be using to create an emulator. For now, just for the sake of understanding, emulator is something which is a replica of a physical device, and it will appear in your PC, and more about this will be clear once we have downloaded Android Studio and actually created a virtual device. And the second thing that comes with the Android Studio is the Android SDK. Android SDK contains the list of files, so many files that will be using, which are also required in order to automate the Android test cases. So both of these things will be seen practically once we have already installed it. So in order to install it, I would suggest you to visit this link, or you can simply go to Google and just write download Android Studio. Click on this link, and as you can see, you can click on this button and it will actually download the Android Studio. Since I've already downloaded, I won't waste time downloading it again. Once you have downloaded, you will see a file like this is recorded. A file like this is downloaded. I'll just show you this one. This is an exe file. You can install it. It may take up to 15 to 20 minutes in order to get installed, and once you have installed it, we will in our future lectures cover how we actually need to use this Android Studio in order to create a emulator. So in this lecture we have covered two steps. how do we need to download Java, set its environment variables, and how do we need to actually download the Android Studio. Once the Android Studio is downloaded, we'll see how where the Android SDK also gets downloaded with it. And in my next lecture, I will be showing you that where the Android SDK is downloaded, and we will also set up environment variables like Android underscore home in our PC. So thank you guys for watching this lecture. I'll see you in the next lecture. Thanks.